I want people to be transported to Paris. I want people to really, travel through like the way, like the moment by the moment they come, see the doodles on the walls of all the illustrations of the French famous street and monument, to like the beret that we use with all our waiter. We really want to give a French experience. One of my old flatmates from France came and visited me in India. He loves sweet and salt. I was okay, fine, it's interesting. And so we built up a sandwich together. It had ketchup, creme caramel, and prawns. He loved it. I'm a foreigner starting a business in India. I'm not gonna get into like some very like some shady business. I'm not seeing the business return on 6 months or 1 year. I'm seeing the bigger picture, like building a Panini empire, pan India.
French street food in Bengaluru is synonymous with Paris Panini, and Frenchman Nicolas Grossemy is the brain behind it. He started with a food truck in 2015 and currently has multiple diners and cloud kitchens across the city. On the Expressions podcast, hear Nicolas' story of how he fell in love with Bengaluru as a business intern, his love for food, and how he combined them into a venture that today has a 50 crore turnover. Let's get to the chat. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
What is your idea of a perfect sandwich?
The idea of a perfect sandwich: a light crust on the top, a soft inside, and very fresh ingredients cooked and perfectly grilled on the outside.
You studied business at a college in France. Was setting up a cafe the natural progression, or was it your love for food?
It's more of a passion that I developed for food.
Yeah.
So I studied business and entrepreneurship back in France. When I came to India, I came with an open mind. I didn't have this, I didn't come with a set idea of starting a business here, but it's more that I enjoyed my stay so much, and I felt that Bangalore has a lot of potential, and I also enjoyed living here.
Yeah.
So I thought of extending my stay and pursuing this dream of setting up a cafe. But initially it was a food truck. So that's later on it came. But when I came to India, for me it was mainly exploration. It was mainly to really have an understanding on how people, the culture of India, like how people do business also in India, because I came from France and I've done internship in Europe overall. So studying is great, but having a very like a practical experience makes more sense to me.
Absolutely.
So that's how I came here with an open mind, not knowing obviously what I would do after my internship, because I came for an internship first. And yeah, like things went the right way, I would say.
Yeah.
And but it's been a fantastic journey.
Wow. I also want to ask you, why Bangalore? Did you visit the other cities in India like Chennai, Kolkata, or Mumbai? But why?
I did,
Yeah.
but I would say that Bangalore is my first love.
Yeah.
And Bangalore is such a dynamic city. It's such a cosmopolitan city that attracts people from all over India,
Yeah.
and as well as a very good exposure with abroad big tech companies.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bangalore being the tech capital of India, it's bringing a lot more talents also from abroad. So I find it like, and people in Bangalore are always keen on trying out a different product, different product,
Open.
different food. But what matters, I would say, the most to them is finding good quality product. So when obviously it came to my mind to where do I start, for me starting in Bangalore was a no-brainer because of all the things that I said, and again I had set up my base in Indiranagar.
Yeah.
And the more I was doing my trials and the more I was testing the market in Indiranagar, and the more I felt that there's a real demand for gourmet sandwiches as well as authentic French street food. So that's why I obviously combine both of them between my cultural heritage and between
Yeah.
my knowledge and expertise and with my passion.
Panini is basically a bread from Italy, if I'm not
Correct.
wrong, right? And the French street food would be baguette or it's called something
Correct.
else. So was there a reason why?
So I make French style panini. So
Okay.
that's how like even you have the whole. I mean the concept is yeah making gourmet French street food in
Yeah.
a form of panini. We've also introduced wraps lately, but
Yeah.
why yeah panini is Italian, but you can make it your own style,
Yeah.
and that's what we do.
Okay. Lovely. You started with a food truck. In which locality did you do brisk business?
India Anaga, because
Okay.
as I had set up my small little kitchen in Tipasandra in a small tiny road, and I was parking the food truck there. So it got quite a lot of attention. I did my launch at the Alliance Française.
Okay.
We had collaborated with them. Great launch, quite successful,
Yeah.
and again got lot of exposure because why would French people set up a food truck in India while like there was not many food trucks at that time. There were about 10 food, we were one of the first 10 food trucks in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So people, it brought a lot of curiosity to into people's
Yeah.
mind and thinking like why on top of that French people
Yeah.
would come and open a food truck.
Yeah.
So like we launched in Alliance Française, then we used to park on 6 Main in Indranagar. Then we got also a lot of attention from other places.
Your French counterparts, Nicolas and Johan, joined you in selling snacks from your country on the streets of Bangalore, right?
Yes.
What was the reaction of people on the street? What kind of, when you said that you were at Indranagar, how would people react when they saw you?
That's an interesting question, and I would say there was, for my part, there was a lot of education to do, and that was very important for me to interact with the customers from day one.
Yeah.
Because at that time there was no gourmet sandwiches player, and like pressed sandwich
Yeah.
panini were also like not there, and people did not know at all about panini. So for me, it was more how to explain to people that my panini is as more value than any other sandwiches, and bet on this gourmet factor. So explaining people that I bake my bread every morning, I make the sauce every day, I bake all the ingredients that are the fillings of
Yeah.
the sandwiches are made also daily. So it was for me explaining the concept and explaining why I'm here, because first of all I was getting attention why there's a French white boy standing in a food truck in the middle of the tech park selling sandwiches. So people were curious to know about the story, people were curious to know about what am I doing. So I come from north of France where potato and French fries are a religion.
Yeah.
Like literally. So while growing up, we had food trucks in north of France for probably 30 years. I used to go to the stadium watching football. There would be those trucks
Yeah.
serving sandwiches with fries, like homemade fries, always homemade fries.
Yeah.
We serve peeled and cut and double fried French fries,
Okay.
which are fresh.
Okay.
So not like the frozen McCain,
Yeah.
different, a very industrial taste
Yeah.
potato. So that's a product that I wanted to bring because for me it was childhood. It was a childhood memory
Yeah.
and something that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So it was really something that I wanted to bring to Bangalore. So I started. First of all, it was quite difficult to source this kind of potato. It was quite a rare potato to
Yeah.
make French fries.
Okay.
So
Did you find it?
I found it.
Okay.
I found it. So, which was a great thing and a great accomplishment. So in HSR, I used to park at Beehive on the parking of Beehive, and I used to meet one customer. His name is Ajay, and so he used to come every single week, and he's a vegetarian. And at some point he got bored of I used to make him different combination, like very like unique combination, because he would come every week and ask me, okay, now And I started with a very limited menu, like 2, 3 veg, 5 non-veg, that's it. So obviously at some point he got bored and he asked me to make special sandwiches for him, and that's what I used to do. And then he said, okay, today, one day he came and he said, today I'm going to try non-veg because I know that your sandwiches are so unique and so good that I wouldn't mind trying non-veg with you, because I know that first of all your hygiene, your standards are up
Top
there,
end,
so
yeah.
top notch. So I wouldn't mind trying, and he tried. And for me, it was, I respect religion, I respect the veg, non-veg, all of that. And I was very fascinated by him, like giving a chance to non-veg, and he loved it. To come back to the fact, was it hard to sell sandwiches to people? It was not easy at all, but the fact that I was there and it was like a kind of one-man show where like I was there talking and interacting with everyone made a big difference.
So you said you have 15 outlets now.
15 years.
15, yeah. So you've grown, because last, I think 6 months back, you had only 12, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, 12 or 13 probably,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. There's always one in progress. So right now we have actually three projects going on. We have one is Indiranagar, which is a big news. I've not announced it anywhere. So it's a very big news.
Yeah.
We are moving. We're gonna move the 12th main Indiranagar store to a bigger space. For us, it's not just about sending out orders, or it's about making the customers feel in a very comfortable atmosphere and ambience at our outlet for our customers to feel like to feel great about it. Like I want people to be transported to Paris. I want people to really, travel through like the way, like the moment by the moment they come, see the doodles on the walls of all the illustrations of the French famous street and monument to like the beret that we use with all our waiter. We really want to give a French experience. And Indiranagar, the first outlet, was obviously it was a bet for us, because like a new kind of concept, new kind of cafe. So we did not want to start big to be stuck somewhere and then realize that why we've done this mistake. So we wanted to start small, figure out also a dynamic in terms of menu, in terms of pricing, in terms of experience as well, because it was a very new concept and format for us. And we are happy to announce that right now we are growing to a much bigger space and to give a much better experience to our customers.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so
Can't
much.
wait for it, actually. And I want to ask you, because Indiranagar is a hub for food, so I'm sure that the bigger place will be better for you, and you'll get more space for the customers to have. So I've noticed even in your Instagram handle, the customer relation and the customer interaction that you have, you focus a lot on it, and I know that whether it's good or bad, but the person never forgets how he's left feeling or how he's left experiencing a certain thing. So how did you think of it, and where do you get inspirations, and where do you
I would say from my early days working in restaurants, I've always been very attached to this relation with customers. And even when people started ordering from Le Casse-Croûte and Paris Panini, I feel really blessed that someone has decided to try the food from my place. Now it has gone like obviously to a different dimension and bigger format. But I still feel really grateful and blessed that people choose my place over any other sandwiches. And it's a very proud feeling that I've been able to start a brand and grow a brand to that, having this kind of impact, because I do care about my customers. I do care about every single feedback. It's very important, and I feel that it's the essence to grow a business sustainably and in a healthy way, because like at the end, I'm not saying that if people tell me you should start having masala in your on your menu, you should do that and all of that. I want to keep my menu and concept as authentic as possible, because
Yeah.
that's also why people come to me. They want a different flavors, but I do listen to them and
Yeah.
do listen to more. I mean, I'm very happy when I hear good feedback, but I'm extremely happy when I hear negative feedback, because for me it helps me improving my
Yeah.
operation,
Yeah.
improving my product,
Yeah.
improving my the overall concept, and
Yeah.
yeah, all feedbacks are always good to take.
So, how is a French food truck different from what you see in India?
Yes, we have a lot of rules and much stricter regulations in France, and I mean, as simple as auditing your kitchen, as simple as yeah, like checking every single thing, and as well as even checking the accounts, checking if the purchase are matching your sales, because I know a lot of people who will probably sell but not necessarily pay their taxes.
Yeah.
You know, there's always like some kind of loopholes, but
Yeah.
from the very beginning I've been maintaining my standards and a different approach to it, to just be also, I mean, I'm a foreigner starting a business in India. I'm not going to get into like some uh, very like some shady business or
Yes.
some like
Unofficial.
yeah, unofficial rules
Yeah.
and unofficial regulations.
Yeah.
So I'm doing everything with a very clear mind,
Yeah.
and in a very like I want to build this business. I'm not seeing the business return on 6 months or 1 year. I'm seeing the bigger picture and opening pan India. I'm seeing like building a Panini empire pan India, and not just a 1 year or 2 years short and then go back to France.
Yeah.
So that's when I see the bigger picture, when you think of how to optimize your efficiency, how to I mean, there's an equation between your cost, between your efficiency, between your quality,
Yeah.
which is very important to keep in mind,
Yeah.
because it will obviously it will impact your metrics and as well as your financials. And if you want to have a healthy and sustainable business to grow,
Yeah.
you better know everything
And be in balance.
deep
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
and to make sure that yeah, at the end you're growing your business in a healthy and sustainable way.
Yeah. And why do you say Bangalore doesn't stop and eat?
Doesn't stop and eat.
Yeah.
So that's what one fascinating fact about Bangalore is how people are so keen on trying different cuisine, different products. You see restaurants opening and closing every single
Yeah.
day, which is, I mean, which attracts more people, because people think that there is a lot of money to make, and oh wow, I'll invest 1 crore and I can probably expand my business quickly and
Yeah.
make quick bucks. But it's not like this at
Yeah.
all.
Need time.
I see all the food ventures, if there is no one in the leadership who's passionate, who run this by passion and with a clear objective of serving a
Goal.
great product,
Yeah.
there's no point. And you know, that's also I get approached by people who want to start a food business, but they don't want to necessarily be associated with the business.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's a great thing,
Yeah.
because people now also relate more and more on stories on, and they look for authentic experience. And that's also why I've been probably able to grow this my brand. It's because from the day one where I had my vision of serving exceptional food to people with the best, freshest ingredients. So sourcing is a big part of
Yeah.
my role also. Like my vision has not changed. I still want to serve the best panini, and I look out the competition. I look out what's happening in India as well as abroad.
Yeah.
and I find inspiration also sometimes,
Yeah.
because there's no point of also being segmented onto just one thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel that you can get a lot of inspiration out of the box.
Yeah.
But one very important thing is to keep your vision clear and stick to it.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to stick to what you say from first and from your vision, that's how you're able to build trust with your customer, and that's how also people can really relate to the brand. And like, I mean, at the end, I'm not doing this for just making people happy for 1 month and then change my entire
Yeah.
vision. Like,
No,
I
no.
do it for on the long run, and that's also why people who have met me during the food truck time still enjoy meeting me and talking to me now and saying, I'm glad that I met you during the food truck times, and I'm so happy that I've seen you grown.
Grow,
And
yeah.
even though, like, you've gone to so many outlets and it's a different structure, you've kept the same value, and you've kept the same vision, and you're
Yeah.
still like someone who's
Consistent.
up. And I also make sure that I approach my audience, I talk to them, and again, as I say, talking and getting feedback from customer is it's a key to
Yeah.
driving a successful business.
Absolutely. That and consistency, which you've been
Yes.
bang on.
And consistency is one of the most, I would say, challenging thing here, because
Absolutely.
I mean, one of the biggest challenge I'm facing right now for expanding the brand is probably manpower. Because manpower, it's not about hiring people, but you need to train them, and they need to share with you this vision that you have.
Yeah.
I don't expect, obviously, people to do what exactly I'm doing, because
Yeah.
I know that they won't be as passionate as I am, even though
Yeah.
I want to convey this
Yeah.
passion and this love for food and
Yeah.
sandwiches. So it's something that obviously it's always a work in progress, but it's something that I think we're getting better at, and we always try to improve the support we give to our staff, the training that we give to our staff, the any food brand rely on human being, because restaurant industry or hospitality is run by human, and it's very important to take care of them and have a very kind of good atmosphere around, to be able to build the brand. And you will have obviously strategic people along the way who will stick to you, who
Yeah.
will stick to the brand. You will have people coming and going, but it's okay. Like, I think it's part of every single business, not only hospitality, but you really need to capitalize on people who
Yeah.
really share this
Same
value
passion.
and vision and
Yeah.
passion with you, to build and take the business to higher
Next level.
heights.
Yeah.
Exactly, because they are the people who will support you along the way, and they are the people who will also be able to convey the same message that you
Yeah.
want to convey to your clientele.
Absolutely. So when you were speaking just now, you also mentioned that you keep track of your competitors, right? So who is your biggest competition according to you? What is your biggest competition in Bangalore?
The biggest competition, see, at some point I would have said,
Subway?
yeah, Subway, but Subway, I find it very industrial.
Yeah.
There is no, like, they don't have a gourmet
Yeah.
touch to the product.
Yeah.
And Subway is very, like, I mean, yeah, they do sandwiches, I think they also do wrap, salad, those kind of
Yeah.
thing. They operate in a uh, different format,
Yeah.
like not really giving attention to the dining. And we put a lot of attention to details when it comes to designing our space or dining space, designing our new outlet opening. So that's one thing, that how we also stand out.
Yeah.
It's not just about the food, but it's the overall
Ambience,
experience
yeah,
for us.
yeah.
So it's not, see, people will remember you for the not that's where we stand out, because people usually go to a place, oh, the food was great, amazing. But for us, it's more, the food was amazing, but the place is very different.
Yeah.
And it's an overall experience that they are getting. And for me, from the very beginning, from the food truck itself, it's not just the food that matters to me,
Yeah.
it's the entire experience to the customer. It's
Yeah.
how we speak to the customer, it's how we recommend to the customer, it's how we greet the customer at the beginning. So this whole customer experience part
Yeah.
plays a big role in our concept. And that's why we've not only wanted to focus on cloud kitchen but dining experience, because dining experience, again, it's where you connect with your customer, and cloud kitchen, we use it as a way to test out areas that we are not so familiar with. And then if it ends up being a successful experience as a delivery kitchen, we don't mind converting it. We use it as a test to then convert to a dining store, because the dining store will be, in terms of capex, it's quite heavy compared to a cloud kitchen. Sorry, you can it's easily five to six times the cost of what you spend when you open a cloud kitchen. So it gives us room also for trying out things, but at the same time, we don't want to compromise at all in the customer experience, and as well as delivery, for sure.
Yeah. Because that is a major source of business these days for food, I'm
Yes.
guessing. And so there is no other competition basically besides
We
this?
have we have smaller players.
Yeah.
See, if you ask me, competition of like brands who have like more than, let's say, 5 outlets and running successfully, I don't recall who's been doing this. But for example, there is Candice Sandwiches, who's been also on the gourmet segment, who's doing a fantastic job. Who's more, I would say, I think it's a slightly more niche product, because they use a baguette bread, sourdough bread, and I do enjoy their sandwiches as much as well. But it's not, I would say, again, it's not as spread as Panini, but they have a good product. But see, in terms of sandwiches player, like for me, what makes a good sandwich stand out is the bread. Who's been able to bake good bread? Who's been able to be consistent? We've been, like, for me, that's how I feel we've also cracked the route for this. Is we started small with one bread, classic bread, one size, one bread, straightforward. And from there, we improved. We improved the bread. We offered different bread, multigrain bread. We offer a different size of bread to make the menu more dynamic also. Because when we opened in the Ranagar outlet, so that's what I observed also by sitting and spending time there. People would order one panini, great, but they would not order anything else, because like they would be full. For me, I would eat one or two paninis because I love bread, and I've been like fueling on bread and paninis. So for me, I would wonder, why are people not eating more than this? And so having also local partner help in this, because they have a different perspectives. And that's where like we were quite, we take strategic and smart decision also to incorporate those kind of aspects. And that's how we came up with the half panini combo. So we were giving half panini with a side. We came up with a healthier bread, the multigrain bread. Then later on also, a year ago, we came up with the wrap format. So our menu is very dynamic, and for us, there is no set recipe. The recipes are made to be improved over the years. And that's also one thing that sometimes you wonder. So we have a central kitchen, because now we baked around 2,000 panini every single day. So we can't bake the bread at an outlet level. So the bread is dispatched every single day.
You also mentioned about manpower. So what are the challenges you faced, when you're hiring staff? And I mean, and how do you, have you come up with some sort of recipe to deal, or some sort of success mantra to, retain them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We do the same way we work on the menu every day.
Yeah.
It's part of our growth also to um, understand how people work, what people expect also. So we have we try to get the people together, because even in the restaurant industry is all about bringing people together.
Yeah.
So restaurant industry is also one of the most difficult and tiring, exhausting industry.
Yeah.
So you need to make them feel really comfortable and give them the tools that they require to help them perform at their best.
Yeah.
And again, when it comes to getting people gathered together, we do obviously have those day outing with people.
Lovely.
So what we try to what we are trying to build is, see,
Relationships.
it takes us about 3 to 4 months to train someone.
Okay.
So for us, we would expect someone to stay in the company at least a year for us to be able to really
Gauge and figure out
yes,
how it
exactly.
works. Yeah.
So it's very important for us to set up things in our company policy for them to stay longer.
Yeah.
So let's say in the first 6 months, there's not much in terms of perks for the employee. But what we've, for example, cracked, and I feel it's a great thing. We give a 6-month increment for people who are below a certain salary. So that helps us. Getting people who are not necessarily experienced, because they are young people who are really passionate and they want to try something different.
Yeah.
They expect obviously a certain salary, but they don't have experience. So for us, it's a bit of a hit or a miss with those guys. So what we tell them is, you start with us. We'll judge your performance. After 6 months, you will have a test.
Yeah.
And after 6 months, we'll decide, depending on your performance, if you're eligible for increment and all of that. So that's one thing. It helped us keeping talent who are not necessarily experienced when they join, but they are proving themselves in the first 6 months to 1 year. And apart from that, it can be like giving them leaves, it can be giving them trips, day outing, it can be giving them more bonus than others during festivals like Diwali. So it's a way to connect with them, and it's a way to give them more importance, because even for example during Christmas and New Year, those are the days and nights where we are the busiest. And that's also, we want to reward them for see, salary is one thing, but everybody gives salary. Now how do you stand out also to give importance to people and make them really feel that it's a good company to work
and
with.
Comfortable, basically.
Yes.
Because Bangalore honestly has so much, there's no dearth of job here, right? I mean, everyone moves very quickly
Jumps from job to job. How do you...
So it's difficult.
And attrition rate,
Yeah.
how it is in the food industry, it's quite high. So we have a fairly low attrition rate, which is, we feel really proud about this.
That's good.
And we are always trying to improve these company policies and employees' benefits
and relationships
for them to feel even more comfortable and get more people have a larger and larger family. Because right now, so we have under Popo Ventures Pizza Bakery, my partner's brand. We have Paris Panini, and we are yet to launch Smash Guys. So Smash Guys is a smash burger brand that my partner Abhijit is launching in public. And it's a very, for us, again, we are growing every month, every year, and we want people to join our family to experience and have a, I think we also try to share our knowledge as much as possible with our staff, with our management team, with our leaders, so to really make an impact and get the people to be on the same level and on the same vision and perspectives.
So you also mentioned that restaurant industry and food industry is dependent a lot on staff and manpower, right? I mean, do you see that changing? Because, you know, in Japan, it's all moved digital and there is digital transformation. It's all, the menu is QR code and it, you know, you have to just select and it goes to the chef and, you know, so do you see that happening with Paris Panini also?
We did. After COVID, we transformed into a QR digital ordering, and we kept it for a year probably and switched back to menu and physical menu, because I think overall in abroad, people would not mind this kind of approach. But in India, people like services and being probably a bit more guided in terms of experience and recommendation. So there is a very and again, it's humanity. It's you will remember an experience because you had this interaction with someone rather than just clicking on a screen and placing your order online. So that's also something that I've been trying to avoid as much as possible, because people otherwise would just order on Swiggy and Zomato. If your order is just a click away, you can just do it on Swiggy and Zomato. But what are you bringing to the table when it comes to dining? I want people to dining to again have this experience, this entire experience of people talking to them, of people taking feedback, of people greeting them, and all of that. And you can have a much more personalized experience when it comes to bringing human to the table rather than just getting into QR ordering. Even though we do try incorporating tech into our model and concept, this QR ordering, for now, it has not been something that it's been successful for us.
So, red tapeism, bureaucratic hassles, commonly demanded bribe by civic authorities are among just some of the hurdles most people face in this industry, right? Or setting up any business here. What's your experience been like? Anything you want to talk about? Was any attempt to sabotage your plans?
No sabotage as such. I think it's part of the culture here it's part of the culture. It's part of the challenges when you run your business, also to deal with the administration, to get your licensing, to get your authorization, to get permits. So now, sure, it's been here and there I faced some challenges, but I think everyone here faces challenges in that way. And I would say, as an entrepreneur, if you face this kind of obstacles, and if you fail at passing this test, you're not going to be a good entrepreneur, and you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur, because I think every country has its perks and its round of challenges. And now I think it's more of a personal thing. How do you face challenges, and how do you find a solution to it? So I would say at the beginning, when I started my business, my food truck, it was very challenging, because being a foreigner, running a food truck which is lacking legal framework, but on top of that, being a foreigner would obviously attract curiosity and would attract eyes on me. But again, I did not necessarily see it as a dead end, but I saw it as an obstacle that I have to face, and I have to just go through it. And everybody, not only the restaurant industry, but every industry faces challenges in that matter. And I would say what matter the most is just how you're able to cope with it and move forward.
You also ran into some trouble for driving a commercial vehicle without a
Correct.
license.
I had my license, but I didn't have a commercial driving
Yeah.
license. And getting a commercial driving license was a challenge for me. I went to the RTO, I met the inspector who told me to go back and do it in my own country. So, yeah, but I did not. It was just a challenge, but how do I how did I move forward? I actually found someone who was who had one of my staff had a commercial driving license. Then I was going with him. Sometimes I would also drive the truck and obviously face a bit of struggles here and there. But there's always a solution. And you know again the way how you judge how someone can be successful, it's how that person is able to solve problems,
Yeah.
how not just solve problems, and how is able to find solutions to
Yeah,
problems.
I agree totally. You come from a small town in France. What was it like growing up there? And I know that, I mean, would be great if you can talk about a little bit about your town because I read about it and it seems so beautiful.
Yeah, Arras is a very charming little town in north of France.
Yeah.
It's if you might know north of France with Lille. The
Yeah.
biggest closest city is Lille, which is next door to Belgium. We are like attached to Belgium. So Arras is a very charming city. I come from the countryside. I live in a kind of farmhouse with my parents, and
Beautiful.
growing up I was enjoying a lot of nature, a lot of sports. As I've been in a fitness trip since my very early day.
Yeah.
I went in a school for athletes, for swimmers. So I used to swim 8 kilometers a day for 4 years.
Wow.
That was amazing. I did a lot of triathlon also. So fitness has always been part of
Yeah.
my personality, of my
Yes.
story, and Arras, it has like those beautiful market every Saturday that brings all the small
Yeah.
little artisan,
Yeah.
and you get like nice homemade cook food also in the market. The same way you have those winter markets, but this is happening every Saturday in the center of Arras on the big on the like in front of the Beffroi. So we have in France we have church, but we also have in the north of France we have Beffroi.
Okay.
It's very similar to church,
Okay.
but Beffroi used to be a place where people would go and find a safe space during World
Okay.
War II.
Okay.
So those are like very symbolic in terms of the architecture and in terms of
History.
the history
Yeah.
of the north of France.
Okay.
So you find those
Lovely.
beffrois mostly only in the north of France, and that look like very similar to church. But yeah, it's part of our history and culture. And when it comes to again the food, for me it was a lot of uh, homemade, like those homemade home cook. My mom used to cook a
Yeah.
lot at home, so I used
Any
to
favorite dish?
help her a lot.
Yeah.
My favorite dish,
What your mom made or something?
it's a duck confit that my mom makes.
Okay.
So it's been a all-time favorite, and every time I go back to France, my mom always make duck confit. I
How
love.
about bringing it to the menu here?
So duck's been quite controversial here.
Okay.
So not something that I'm planning to bring to the menu. So I keep it for my own self. Even I brought duck confit to India in Bangalore last time I came back from France, and I keep bringing. So here and there, I do cook for my friends. I love cooking. So even while running this venture, I cook lesser, I would say, in the outlet compared to before, but I enjoy a lot cooking for others, bringing people together. I do a lot of cooking at home, bring my friends,
Yeah.
get also their view on what I'm doing, and their feedback, and
Yeah.
that's what brings me, like, at the end, for me, the restaurant, and it's all about having a warm meal,
Yeah.
warm experience
Yeah.
with different people that you love, and
Yeah.
and sharing a very
Because that's what you've grown up watching, right? So you want to have that feel of
exactly. And that's how also my parents, I grew up in also the lunch and dinner used to be a very family time. My parents are teachers, and they would make sure that they pick us up at school and bring us home, and we share this meal together. We would have lunch and dinner always together. And and lunch and dinner has always been a moment to share with parents, with mom and dad. And like, you don't get to spend a lot of time with the people you love, except then sharing food with them. People get busy during the day, but if there's one time that people can allocate a bit of time, is
when you
like
eat.
eating. Because see, you can watch TV, but like there's nothing that you will be like, you can't really share
Or
about
see
your
eye to eye
day,
and
and
talk.
exactly. So for us, and for me, it's been a very, my family, we are very like family oriented, and sharing experiencing, sharing things,
Yeah.
spending time together. So sharing this meal, this lunch and dinner, was a very crucial time
Yeah.
for us. And my mom loves cooking, my brother loves cooking as well. I used to be part of their preparation, obviously, throughout my life, my childhood, and while growing up. And obviously my mom's been inspiration for me, as well as my dad, in the things he would do. And yeah, like, I've had like a very supportive system, and a very lot of support from friend and family
Yeah.
from the very early days. And I'm very grateful and blessed for this. And that's how also, now more and more I'm trying to do some different activities, like cooking activities, or helping people in setting up their business, because I feel that along the way I've received so much of support
So you
from
want to give
people,
now.
that I'm so happy that now I can give back.
Yeah.
And it's very important for me. It's not only with this venture, this Panini business, but even in my athlete time in France, I met so many like beautiful soul and trainers that have helped me grow and helped me outperform who I am, and always look at always getting better and improving yourself. And that's what I think built my determination and mindset, because it's not just about a business, or something that you do. It's your whole persona. It's your whole you as a soul and human being. How can you outperform, and how can you
Make a difference.
yeah, make a difference, and stay true to yourself as
Yeah.
well.
So have your parents come to Bangalore? What do they think of Paris Panini?
They've come to Bangalore till now 5-6 times.
Okay.
They've seen the food truck also.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen Paris Panini when I started.
Yeah.
And it's been a very proud moment for them. And I'm very proud also, because I had very tough time during the food truck. And one thing that's been constant is their support. It's been making sure that I'm fine even though I was not fine. And we've all had our shares of up and down. I had a lot of challenges and tough time when I started the food truck, but they've been a constant support to me. And again, the fact that they've been so supportive to me, like, I always want to give back to them. And they're still so, if you see, like, in Church Street we have a Eiffel Tower with lights. My dad built it. He came so when they came to India 2 years ago. Um, he's a teacher in automatism and automated processes, and he does a lot of hand work or machinery work, and he does a lot of laser cutting, wood cutting, and he built this amazing Eiffel Tower for me. He brought it to Bangalore and assembled it here, and people are actually liking it so much. He customized it like having like Paris Panini written at the bottom, and it's such like this. Even though right now the business is doing well, it's going. I mean, it's growing well. They are still very supportive, and they are still very close to me, and the same way they've been
Yeah.
supporting me with the food truck,
Yeah.
they still support me along the way. And I just want to give back also to my parents, and
Yeah.
and I'm proud that they've always been proud of me, but I'm even more proud to like to have reached this and be able to prove them that yeah, I was able to get this business to the next level.
And who's been your biggest inspiration?
Biggest inspiration, probably my dad.
Yeah.
My dad has been like someone that I've always admired. Like it's crazy, even though he's not in the food business.
Yeah.
But in terms of personality, in terms of how he's always trying to improve, how he's trying to help people, how his way to see life around. So for me, I don't necessarily get inspired by, oh wow, this brand is
Yeah.
has grown so big. I'm inspired by people's stories, by how people start, small and grow from that. Or, like when there's a really like an attachment to like, the company and to the brand and the values of
Yeah.
the person.
How are your sandwiches when compared to Jersey Mike's?
Very different, I would say. Very different. I think we have things in common, like the passion to run, to give the best sandwiches to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we share, and give the best also customer experience, because he was and he's still very close to his customers itself. And it's part of the like by him being still close, it's more part of the identity of the brand. And I find this amazing because yeah, like any food brand, I would say, like relies on the founder's vision.
Yeah.
And if the founder's vision is to give the best and deliver the best and give the best experience, then I can relate to that.
If you had to combine the best of American and French food, what would it be?
American and French food, I find them to be probably two contrasting cuisine, where
Yeah.
like American is very bold statement, and French is more like refined and more, exclusive. And so, but one I would say common ground that we have is, I mean, even in terms of street food, they do
Ham
amazing hamburger America,
Yeah.
and they do amazing hamburger, and I would say we do the best baguette sandwich and ham and cheese.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like we have common ground in terms of the kind of product that we want to deliver,
Yeah.
but yeah, in a different kind of way, in a different kind
Yeah.
of way.
Presentation is different, you mean?
Yes.
So, how do you make your business partnerships work? And what's it like to run Pari Panini with Abhijit Gupta? How did you both meet? What's common between you all? Is it the business acumen or the love for food?
It's both.
Yeah.
It's the passion that drives us,
Mm-hmm.
and also the fact that we want to bring a very unique experience to people, something that, an exceptional experience to people.
Yeah.
And how do you get there? It's being passionate about what you're doing.
So, do you have disagreements also? And how do you handle it?
I mean, I think in life we all have
Yeah.
disagreements. Like there would be things you agree, there would be things you disagree, but there's never been any moment where I felt left aside. There's always been this complicity between not only Abhijit but his brother is there, Nikhil. It's a very young and dynamic brothers union, and I'm glad that I found them, because we complement each other. So I'm very focused on the operational part of Panini, but I'm still very involved in the training, the menu curation, and yeah, overall everything. But they help also. They have a in terms of business acumen, they bring a lot to the table, and yeah, that's how we've been able to complement each other, and it's a great. We share this passion to bring very unique and very exceptional food to the experience and food to the table. So that's why I mean, we've not had a big disagreement so far, but it's been an amazing journey with them. We learn, I would say, from each other, and yeah, we have a common vision of bringing something very unique and something that has a lot of value to the table.
Excellent. What's been your learning from them and the various other people that you worked with in your business? You've had 4 partners, right? If I'm not wrong.
So I had 2 partners before,
Yeah.
and now I have two
Yeah.
new partners.
So, what's your biggest learning?
Biggest learning, sometimes you have to take strategic decision.
Yeah.
That's probably regarding my old partners, because at some point I could have lost everything,
Yeah.
like, and gone back to France. I decided to stand up and take a bet on this. And obviously at that time we had some disagreement, but it was either I take this route or I lose everything. So I took a gamble on this and took this strategic decision. And I mean, we are still in talk, and I mean, it's not that we've become enemy because we split it way. We are still in good terms and all of that, so which is great. And yeah, so that way sometimes you need to take very strategic decision. So it takes a tool on you and probably the relationship that you will have with the different people. But it's important that you see probably yourself, you prioritize sometimes yourself, and think about the bigger picture rather than just pleasing everyone and lose everything at the end.
Yeah.
So that's a big learning. And then with AB and Nikhil, I mean, it's always a work in progress with them, and we really believe that there is no like end result, and there is always room for improvement.
Yeah.
Always room for improvement.
Absolutely. You had no professional training, but you worked at a few restaurants back in France. So, any particular incident that made an impact? And how did you pick up your culinary skills? And how did you hone them?
So yeah, I'm a self-taught chef.
Yeah.
I can claim, and I would say, see, having theoretical or like going to culinary schools and
Yeah.
getting to learn from them is great. But at the end, how do you practice and how do you put your theory into something like valuable?
Yeah.
So for me, even though I had not learned how to cook or any culinary classes before, I still found like a lot of interest cooking while growing up or
Yeah.
even being in India.
Yeah.
And I built this expertise by practicing myself. And obviously I've done a lot of mistakes. The first bread that I baked was horrible. It was like lacking salt, it didn't proof properly, it was like hard, but without making mistakes,
Yeah.
how do you learn?
Yeah.
So that's where, like, I would say, don't necessarily expect to be like a
Master
big
chef.
chef, a master chef once you start, but it's more like, again, of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And like along the way, you learn from your mistake.
And you grow.
Yes, exactly.
The Cook with Nicola is a popular series on social media.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was popular. Thanks, that's good to know.
Yeah. And what was the idea behind it? And what's with the tag food that slaps?
Again, this idea of cooking, I do cook a lot. I cook
You
very
mentioned.
often at
Yeah.
home. And so even I've lived with flatmates before, and they used to tell me like, oh my God, like your recipes are so good. and why don't you like cook for obviously other people? And so at that time, obviously, I was running
Yeah.
the food truck,
Yeah.
and I was building this. So it didn't really click in my mind, but I had this discussion with my partner who also said, since you cook a lot, why don't you
Start a
like
series.
show it to people? Because I'm sure people would be interested also to see
Yeah.
your skills are not just making sandwiches, but we can see with the food that you make that you could actually probably not educate but give like tips to people so that they could do it at home. And that's where I found it a great way to express and again give back,
Yeah.
because yeah, the technique that I've learned along the way are not necessarily things that you will know, and people don't like, they are sometimes scared of taking this leap of faith and taking this first step of starting something. But I want to like show to people that you can use simple ingredients and transform them into recipes that slap.
What's your experience of being part of the conservatory community where you have chefs specializing in diverse cuisines?
So it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's a pool of knowledge and very knowledgeable people.
Yeah.
You share like common interest with.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how
Any particular interaction with any chef that stands out in your experience?
like I would say, like let's say Chef Aditya from Mosan.
Okay.
So we've been also like we actually partnered with him because we found his burgers to be really standing out, and that's how we've collaborated with him with Smash Guys, and
Okay.
he's a great human being, and that's how like you don't necessarily relate to like you don't judge a person by just the food that he makes, but by the persona and identity
yeah.
and values that you can share with that person.
Yeah.
So that way, like conservatory, obviously you meet and you like for me, conservatory is more of experiencing different things because that's what they are trying to do. Like it's like experimental space, and I find it amazing. Akila has done a brilliant job at bringing like different people under one roof, and like so much creativity, so much
Yeah.
different ideas popping up, and
Yeah.
different pop-up menu also,
Yeah.
which is great to see because yeah, Bangalore has so much talents, and in India we have so much talents, but how do we get them to cook food in Bangalore?
Yeah.
So it's been a great bridge between great chef and a good, I would say, audience here in Bangalore, and experiencing it is also a good thing. I just wish that the place was bigger to accommodate more people, because sometimes it's difficult to get a slot, but it's been an amazing experience so far.
So, over the last few years, many prefer food delivery platforms rather than going to the restaurant. So, how has that changed the strategy at Paris Panini?
So I think our main focus at the beginning was definitely the dining experience.
yeah.
Because of COVID, we also had to rethink, or not the concept, but the way we deliver the product to make sure that people can have not like the same experience with the product at home. Obviously, not the whole experience, because we give a whole complete different experience at the outlet with the ambience at the outlet itself. But it's more on making like the product very like delivery proof, and making sure that your like at the end we did not just put our product online. There was a lot of thinking behind to make sure that how does the product travels,
Yeah.
how can it last, like how can it be as good as it is now in like 20 minutes, those kind of things. So a lot of thinking went into the packaging, into even the recipe of the product, into probably even delivering like an ingredient separately, and maybe just assembling it at home to keep the freshness of all the ingredients. So a lot of thinking had gone through COVID and all this time, and to make a very delivery friendly product as well, to not we do not neglect this delivery aspect. And
Yeah.
yeah, obviously we want to always give the best experience, be it in dining as well as delivery.
I can tell that you really care for the customers. Huh? It
Yes,
comes from the heart. So, what do you enjoy more, cooking or running the business?
I enjoy both.
Yeah.
Both of I'm happy that now I'm also even able to cook for for people and
You
do
have
this
time to.
cooking and do
Yeah.
this cooking seri also. And I enjoy running the business because I learn every single day. I learn about things and how to improve and how to scale a business. It's definitely like a different kind of perspective that when I started the food truck, for me, like the end result would have been I would want to open a cafe, like convert this food truck into a cafe. Now it's more like how do I like how do we build the brand to scale pan India?
Yeah.
Because right now we are in Bangalore. We've been building a strong team in Bangalore,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's what we are trying to do. And yeah, like later on, we would want to obviously expand pan India, and we want to build a strong team for that, and yeah.
What's your top three favorite sandwiches?
In Panini,
Yeah.
Jean.
Okay.
My first time my love Jean, Victor, which is Jean has bacon, Victor has lamb,
Okay.
and Mathieu, it's our French dip panini that we launched probably a year ago, I think, or maybe it's been less than a year, but we make it it's served with a French dip on the side, so
Mhm.
like it becomes very saucy, a little bit messy, but very tasty, and it's a great it's my favorite chicken panini.
Making a sandwich, what is the right balance? Hot, cold, soft, crunchy, sweet, sour combo? What do you think? What is the most crucial character of a sandwich?
The bread.
Yeah.
The bread is the most important because like the bread can ruin the whole experience. I mean, in terms of stale, if you get stale ingredient, obviously it will ruin the experience. But for me, the crucial part is the bread. It's
Yeah.
the main ingredient of a sandwich. The same
Yeah.
way even is the main ingredient of a burger.
Yeah.
If you have like a crumbly bread, if you have a dry bread,
Yeah.
like you won't enjoy
Yeah.
the whole product. So
Yeah.
it starts from the bread, and yeah, for me the bread is the most crucial important.
And the balance?
And balancing it, yeah, obviously the right amount of sauce to make it juicy yet flavorful, because that's also one thing in panini. We have obviously the bread that is homemade, baked every
Yeah.
single day in our kitchen,
Yeah.
but the sauce is a very plays a very important role into balancing out all the ingredients
And the
and
flavor.
into getting the cake,
Yeah.
either the cake, the flavor,
Yeah.
in balancing out
Yeah.
all the rest of the ingredients
Oh,
together.
yeah.
That binds the ingredients all together,
Yeah.
and then the bread finishes it off with its freshness.
So must use condiments that make a good sandwich?
Lettuce,
And mayonnaise or mustard or both?
mustard mayonnaise.
And what's the best way to cook your sandwich? Grill, frying pan, toaster, griddle?
Toasters.
Yeah.
Yes, like pan sandwich press basically. So
Yeah.
it does the job beautifully. Like where you get the cross mark
Yeah.
on the panini,
Yeah.
and we get also the slightly flattened bread. Because panini is a toasted sandwich, so the toast needs to be done properly.
Yeah. And what's common between a grilled cheese sandwich and 3-cheese toasty?
3 cheese toasty.
Yeah. I mean, just a cheese toasty and a grilled cheese sandwich. What is the
It's a very similar
feeling?
thing. The toasty will be like very like pressed and probably have like more cheese since it has 3 cheese, but
Yeah.
it's a very similar product. It's a bread and toasted sandwich at the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you choose your menu given the local taste also? Do you blend Indian flavors into your dishes sometimes?
We stick to being very authentic French,
Mhm.
and that's where like people see a difference in
Yeah.
terms of flavors. And I think that's where like they stick to us because we've been.
That's where you stand out, you're
Yes,
saying, yeah.
exactly. That's how we stand out, and that's
Yeah.
how we have a unique selling proposition. So, and we want to stick to it,
Yeah.
and we don't want to get into like a mainstream kind of concept,
Yeah.
because people see value in what we're doing now, and we would not want to dilute this to like please other people. There are
Yeah.
already other people doing it.
Yeah.
Let them do it, and we are
Happy.
specializing
Yeah.
in French flavors, and yes, we want to continue with that.
And what's behind the unique names of your sandwiches? Do each of them have a story?
So each of them has a story. Like the name is related to one, the key ingredient of the key ingredients
Yeah.
of the panini. So that's how like we came up with different name, and it adds a bit more of uniqueness and identity to the panini as well.
Okay. Where do you source your ingredients from? Do you get them outside India also, or is it from India only?
99% are from India.
Okay.
We source them locally, and we prefer sourcing the ingredients locally and twisting them, in a sense,
Yeah.
use or different cooking method,
Mhm.
or like traditional French recipes,
Yeah.
rather than just importing like a French ketchup. I'll rather use tomato that I can source here with onions, with all the elements that I need to make
Yeah.
my ketchup, and make it in my own way, rather than just
Get it from-
importing.
yeah.
Because yeah, at the end it matters in terms of the taste, of the freshness of the product, and I love using local elements to also elevate the experience. Like
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, I'm in India, and I need to consider like obviously the local
Yeah.
aspect, rather than just be like, oh no, I'm French and I need to use French butter and French tomato and French like it doesn't work like this.
Yeah.
So that's how also like a good chef, I would say, you can differentiate good chef. It's how they are able to play with the ingredients around them, rather than just sticking to one
Yeah.
set thing.
Yeah. Wanted to talk about breads a little bit. White, brown bread, sourdough. How important it is to Paris Panini?
It is, for Paris Panini, it's a very crucial thing.
Yeah.
And
Do you have sourdough also? in your menu?
no, we
Okay.
don't do sourdough, so
Okay.
it's a different process.
Yeah.
And the fermentation is still very important to
Yeah.
to us, like the proofing.
Yeah.
And so baking bread, it's a lot of passions,
Yeah.
and being patient, and lot of caring for making those little beautiful pieces of bread,
Yeah.
because it takes time. Sometimes even the climate can play a role
Yeah.
in the proofing of the bread, when it's more humid, when it's
Mm.
slightly more dry, and all of that. So it plays a lot, and the bread is a crucial element in Paris Panini.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, we bake now. We've been baking bread since day one,
Okay.
and we still bake breads in our central kitchen. And it's a love story also, I would say, to be baking bread. You see those little pieces of flour just raising,
Yeah.
proofing,
Yeah.
then getting like baked, and after you can make a nice sandwich out of it. So
Yeah.
it's more of a passion and love story that
Yeah.
I could live on bread, literally. Like for me, my relationship with bread is, so I grew up eating sandwiches for lunch, for dinner, like, but lunch breaks are like where I would have most of my sandwiches. And literally, if I could live, if you ask me one dish I could have for my, like, the rest of the days, like, it would be just sandwiches
Really?
and bread.
So if in a day we had to had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with what would it be? What sandwiches would you recommend for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Egg sandwich for
Breakfast?
breakfast. A nice probably another chicken and mayo sandwich
Yeah.
with salad, a side of salad for lunch. And for dinner, I would have like a slightly lighter with a side of ratatouille or mushroom soup, and that'll be amazing. I'll be happiest.
And tell us some tips on baking bread. Just one or two tips if you have, since you've been here.
Tips: be patient. it's most of the skills that you need while baking bread is
Yeah.
being patient.
Yeah.
And I actually did a workshop with LBB during COVID on
Uh-huh.
how to make panini bread. So I gave my insights, or even I made bread with the audience.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end, it's it's very close to my cooking style, where I don't necessarily enjoy like cooking very fancy meals
Yeah.
or using fancy ingredients. And that's what I'm also doing with my cooking theory. Like, it's how you use simple fresh ingredients and turn them into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And bread is all about this. You just mix flour, water, yeast, salt, and you just get a beautiful loaf
Yeah.
that can either be a beautiful loaf of bread, but that can be also like a ciabatta bread, that can be a panini bread, depending on the hydration, depending on the proportion
Yeah.
that you use. So, it's very nice and interesting to play around things and discover. And yeah, even the panini bread that now I'm doing, as I said, the first time I baked, it was terrible.
Disaster.
But yeah, like, you just learn
Yeah.
and you improve, and yeah, you learn from the experiences,
Yeah.
and seeing all those ingredients that you combine together and see
Yeah.
how the magics happen.
Yeah. Just talk a little bit about street food in India. What's your favorite street food in India? Anything in particular in Bangalore? And have you tried, say, like vada pav in Mumbai or
Obviously,
chaat in
it's so
Kolkata?
similar. It's so
Yeah.
similar to a sandwich, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I love bread. So
Yeah.
anything between two slices will, for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But in terms of street food, I love dosa. I love idli sambar. I
Yeah.
love rolls also.
Yeah.
I love vada pav. I love Indian food in general, like dal, sabzi, naan, roti. Like, I've been here for 11 years, and I love experimenting, obviously, with Indian food. And as much as I love my French food, I also really like
Enjoy other
indulging
kinds.
and enjoy Indian food and Indian
Nice.
flavors.
And what's the craziest combination you've tried in a sandwich? Has it worked? Not worked?
That's a good question. So I think the craziest sandwich combination I would have done is, one of my old flatmates from France came and visited me in India, and he's someone, he loves sweet and salt. And I was okay, fine, it's interesting. And so we built up a sandwich together. It had ketchup, creme caramel, and prawns.
How was that to taste?
He loved it. I mean, I'm not a sweet and salt
Yeah.
tooth much,
Yeah.
so I did not necessarily specifically enjoyed it. But this guy, like, really loved it. And even though, like, I take feedback, and I observe what
Yeah.
people likes and all of that, it's not been part of any of my menu creation anytime soon.
So do you have a favorite sandwich place anywhere in the world?
I would say, things that I grew up with are something that's probably created more impact than just seeing, oh, this guy has the best,
Yeah.
this guy has the best sandwiches. Like, you get close to a brand or to a specific place because you share some values, you share some vision. And for example, I remember this place in Lille where I studied my university time. It was called Dog Sandwich. And they had probably 20 to 30 different sandwiches on their menu. And I had tried maybe a dozen of sandwich from their place, and I would stick to one that has like those fried onions, roast chicken, lettuce, mayonnaise. And I try to have those kind of bold flavors that I've been growing up with,
Yeah.
and try to bring it to my menu as well,
Yeah.
because for me it really reminds me of my childhood or my time that I was growing up,
Yeah.
and it has much more value than just let's say a set sandwich from a place which is doing extremely well. For
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
there's no story, there's no I can't necessarily
Yeah.
relate to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, this place in Lille that I've gone like probably every alternate days means more to me than any other sandwich
And
brand.
what was the sandwich? Yeah.
So that was called, the place was called Dog Sandwich,
Okay.
and it was like a
Okay.
chicken and mayo sandwich.
Okay. Nice. So you also mentioned that you plan to expand your business. What is the next city or something that you have you planned anything like? What?
Not we've not decided yet
Yeah.
on the city,
Yeah.
so it's still something that we are trying to figure
Work.
with my partner. So I can't say right now in which city will be. You
Yeah.
can expect us to be next, but that's definitely something that we keep in the corner of our head, and yeah, we aim to build a very strong team right now in Bangalore that will help us expand later on
Yeah.
in multiple cities in India.
Tell me what you eat, and I will tell you who you are, is a common quote on food. What's
Uh,
your take on that?
Very true,
Yeah.
very true.
And
So yeah, no, I mean, food reflects identity, reflects values, reflect someone's maybe mindset, or like, I would not say I would just judge you by the food that you have, but it tells a lot. It tells a lot about someone's personality and someone's vision when it comes to food. Like, if you have to, let's say, like, if you tell me, okay, I mean, for me it would be like, let's say, I mean, I would define myself sandwiches, because I love making
yeah.
sandwiches, and I can do it in so many different way.
Yeah.
And for me, like, making this kind of sandwiches defines me as probably a simple person, because sandwiches are fairly simple to do, but at the same way very uh, very, I tend to be perfectionist, be sure of like the kind of ingredients I use and the kind of combination I
Yeah.
mix. So simple yet perfectionist, and yeah, like it gives a lot of view and perception on the kind of
Person. Yeah.
person you deal with.
Have you picked up a little bit of Kannada or any other Indian language?
Swalpa Swalpa. And yeah, I actually started learning Hindi last year.
Uh-huh.
I've kept it on hold for now, but I'm planning to.
Pursue it.
Yes.
And how do you say this sandwich is yum in French?
Ce sandwich est délicieux.
Okay. And want to talk a little bit about your fitness. I see that you take part in a lot of CrossFit competition, and it's quite inspiring to the youngsters these days. So, would you like to take us and talk to us about it?
Sure. So I mean, I find it, for me, I find balance in life, doing fitness as well as working on my venture, and it's a very crucial part for me to be able to wind down and be able to free my mind of all the stress and chaos, like
Yeah.
between running the business and growing it. So I've been an athlete from my very early days.
Yeah.
I in France. I used to earn money also while doing this,
Really?
but I got injured while I was practicing for the nationals in triathlon while I was in university. I got hit by a car, and I had my exam the next week, and I went to my exam in a really bad shape. I could barely write on my papers, and I felt at that time, why, like, I don't think I can pursue this. I don't think I have the potential to go like the athlete way and make a career out of this. So I should pursue my business, my studies, and then once I get time, just probably get back to it, but take it easy and slow, because at the end of the day, now I'm doing my study, and I should just focus on this.
Yeah.
So that's how I left a bit this athlete and the fitness sides when I left France.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came to India, I realized that outdoor activities are a bit
Yeah.
challenging to do, even because of the roads.
Mm.
Like, you know, cycling in France and cycling here is
Yeah.
a whole, there's a whole world of difference. So I tried finding more of indoor activities. So I started doing CrossFit. I found myself I'm a very competitive person.
Mm-hmm.
So which is, I think, good and maybe a bit bad, but yeah, I have this mindset of like wanting to always be the best version of myself, and I like challenging myself with this. So yeah, doing CrossFit was, I mean, it's been amazing to me. And right now I've taken up this challenge of running this half Ironman in Goa by end of this year. So like I make sure that yeah, I have my fitness journey as well as my entrepreneurial journey,
Yeah.
and I find both to be a good combination to build a strong mindset,
Yeah.
as well as building a story and build your own story itself.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like it's great to make Panini, but I also want to outperform in terms of my own capabilities and my own skills.
So quick rapid fire, Nicola.
Sure.
Best and worst sandwiches you've encountered on your travels?
Best probably in Barcelona, that both they bake. Worst sandwich.
Not yet.
Yeah, I can't recall.
One food code that you like?
I mean, one quote that I will always say is there's always room for improvement.
Favorite chef?
You know, now you have all those very homegrown chef,
Yeah.
and I resonate more with those homegrown chef than Gordon Ramsay or any big chef with big names.
When not at Paris Panini, where do you hang out in Bangalore?
If you ask me one place, I would say Bar Spirit Forward, because it has a great atmosphere, great people around.
5 must-have ingredients in your sandwich.
Bread, bread, great bread, good sauce,
Okay.
freshness from the lettuce.
Yeah.
A nice. I mean, I'm a meat eater,
Yeah.
so I would definitely prefer having, like, let's say chicken or bacon
Yeah.
or any kind of meat.
That's 4.
And to a crunch element like fried onions. Like onions goes, like that's one thing I learned also coming here. Like onions are part of any
Yes.
Indian
Absolutely.
dish.
Yeah.
And not that I want to Indianize things, but I love having also my onions, and be it fried, being onion rings, be it in a different kind of form. I like having my onions as well.
Yeah. Advice to someone who wants to start a food business in India?
Be persistent, be
Mhm.
consistent, be patient, listen to your customers, listen to the people around, observe. When someone comes to buy something, maybe they will not buy, but try to understand the perspective of that person, and probably talk to that person, be very close to your audience, you know, and keep improving your recipes, because again, there's no set recipe for success, and keep improving your recipes as well as probably yourself.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. This was
Thank
so
you.
much fun. Thank you.
Thank you.